Good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Before we continue with the video, you know the drill. Hit that like button, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. We have got some rather interesting air mass coming down from the north. We've got essentially Arctic air that's moving south across the British Isles as we progress through the course of today, and we are going to experience some rather notable chilly conditions for the time of the year across the country. But I want to first and foremost look at the CFSV2 for the upcoming 7-day period, and you can see a very firmly below average across the UK and Ireland. We've got a reasonably strong negative Arctic oscillation, North Atlantic oscillation at the moment. That area of high pressure back during the weekend that moved in has now retreated west and northwest, and it's allowing the Arctic air to come from a pretty significant distance north down over the country, and it's sending the temperatures significantly below average. Now, what is interesting about the CFSV2 weeklies is as we even progress into week 2, so this is the period 11th through the 18th of June, and it's still firmly below average. It's really only once you start to get to the 18th through the 25th where we actually start to see, now this is according to this model, we actually start to see warmer than average returning across the south, average conditions further north, and then as we progress out of June into the month of July, it's indicating that we're going above average. But we may see warmer conditions moving in before this period, but nonetheless, very interesting how the CFSV2 is supporting this chill to linger. Now, this is the latest GFS ensemble, and this is the upcoming 7 days, or should I say the 5 days, and firmly below average across the UK, Ireland, and the near continent. Notice here that we've got the warmer than average across Iberia. So we've got quite a contrast between chilly UK versus a rather warm Spain and Portugal. Even southern France is seeing warmer than average conditions. This is the 6 to 10. So again, kind of going with the CFS V2 solution. Below average, continuing. This is through the 14th of June. And then as we progress to the 10 to 14 day, you can see that we're starting to see a recovery. This is the 13th through the 18th of June in terms of the temperature anomaly. Let's see what the GFS is indicating in terms of precipitation. Because remember what the June forecast states. Average to slightly below average temperatures, but also below average rainfall. So we'll wait and see what happens here as we go through the period. So this is the upcoming 7-day period. Now, with the areas of low pressure drifting south out of the Norwegian Sea over the UK, we are actually going to see quite a lot of shower activity across the north, less so across the south, hence why the GFS ensemble is indicating a wet north, dry south solution. Looking as we progress through the period, it is indicating that we see average to slightly below average conditions in terms of rainfall until we get to the second half of the month, and it's actually kind of sniffing out average to slightly above average precipitation here. But take your pick in terms of wetter versus drier than average. The latest CFSV2 is indicating week 1 is looking slightly wetter than average across the north, but the rest of the country drier than average, which is obviously welcome news for many. You can see here that we've got a drier than average solution in the week 2. So this is 11th through the 18th of June. Even in the week 3, you can see here that we go slightly wetter than average as we start to warm things up. So this is the current pressure chart of meteoceles. So this is the current pressure situation across the continent, and we do have quite the divide in terms of temperature profile. We'll look at that in just a second, but notice here there's that area of high pressure that was present over the UK during the past weekend. It's now well out to the west over the North Atlantic. That negative NAO signature seen within the atmosphere. We've got an area of low pressure just to the east of Iceland. High pressure to the west means that we're drawing our winds down straight out of the Arctic. So you can see that situation, higher pressure across the rest of the continent. This is the current temperatures. Now they're fluctuating somewhat but we are seeing bona fide chilly early season brand Arctic air now descending across the northern UK, and that's going to continue to drift southwards as we progress through the next couple of days. So we've got plenty of warmth to speak about over a good chunk of Europe. If you notice here that we do have largely 20s or above across the majority of mainland Europe here, especially so eastern and southeastern parts of the continent where we've got some real notable heat to speak about for early summer, temperatures nudging 40 Celsius in western portions of Turkey. We've got some exceptional heat. Israel, parts of Israel, Syria, Jordan, mid to upper 40s at the moment here. So brutal hot conditions across parts of the Middle East. We've also got temperatures into the low to mid 30s across central and southern Spain, even mid 20s. As close as southern France, central France, we've got low 20s. In and around the Paris area, we've got 24 Celsius. So quite the contrast, if you notice, between northern France and the southern UK, where we've only got the 16s and 17s in and around London and the southeast of the country. So looking specifically at the British Isles, you can see here that we've only got perhaps nudging 19 Celsius to the northwest of London. This is a 17 showing up at the Heathrow at the moment here. I think we do have a 17 at Northolt, and it looks as if there is a 19 there. Just trying to pick out. It's showing London City Airport showing 19 Celsius at the moment. So we're clinging on to something a little bit warmer across the southeast corner. But notice here, current temperatures of only 7.5 at Loch Liscarnock with a wind chill of 2.9 Celsius. We are, like I say, we're fluctuating at the moment. Temperatures here at the house no higher than 12.8. That was around lunchtime. Then it dropped off to around 7 Celsius with a brisk northwesterly wind. Showers rattling in, quite convective in nature as well because of that colder air in the mid-number levels of the atmosphere in combination with that strong early June sun. That allows a lot of instability. So some of them showers can deliver thunder, lightning, hail, gusty winds, etc., etc. That is going to be the theme over the next several days here. But notice Cairngorm Summit only recording a temperature. Obviously, it's over 4,000 feet above sea level, but nonetheless, minus 0.8 Celsius with a wind chill of minus 10 at the moment here. More people, obviously, walkers, climbers, going to the hills of Scotland at this time of the year. Certainly want to make sure you've got your layers on because maximum temperatures no greater than 0 plus 1. Temperatures by night time -2, -3, but it's that 40-mile-an-hour wind and intermittent whiteout conditions is going to create some hazards in the Grampians, the Cairngorms, Northwest Highlands over the next several days here. So somewhat dangerous conditions actually for the time of the year, and it can catch people out. So let's have a look. The current wind chills as of this afternoon here. So we've only got 2s and 3s in northwestern parts of the country here. Widespread 6s, 7s, and 8s. So a rather chilly breeze to say the least. So looking at the latest visible satellite imagery, spot the cold front. It certainly doesn't take a meteorologist to work out where the cold front is. We've got this big bank of cloud representing the Arctic cold front extending from southern Greenland right the way across the heart of England and Wales here. Scotland now in that cold air, along with the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland here. We've got these specky clouds indicating that the convection and showers rattling through on that stiff west to northwesterly wind. We've got an area of low pressure seen on the visible satellite just to the east of Iceland, and that is going to kind of reinforce that Arctic pull southwards over the UK. We are going to eventually see this frontal system that's got a bank of cloud and outbreaks of rain here. We're flirting with something slightly milder, like I say, across the far southeast of the country here. But get to the north of the front, it is notably fresher. And you can see here as we play through this animation here, this loop of weather online, you can see the southward progress of that frontal system over the last few hours. Looking at the latest radar. Sorry, you can see here that we have got that there's actually two fronts. We've actually got one front and another front here. So this is the leading edge of the first front. Then this is another front coming in behind it. You notice here that we've got some line convection starting to show up here. Generally between North Wales, kind of Greater Manchester, Liverpool area, some pretty lively showers. I would imagine gusty winds associated with this line, this kind of squally band of heavy rainfall and gusty winds. That is moving southwards, and then we're in the colder air across the north with plenty of convective showers to speak about. Now, this is the ECMWF, believe it or not, the snow depth chart, and it is sniffing out some intermittent accumulating snow. Parts of the Northwest Highlands, parts of the Cairngorms, for example, over the next few days, as these showers continue to drill in a kind of east to southeast, southeasterly direction, we are going to see winteriness over the tops of the mountains of northern UK over the next several days, as you can see here. So rather interesting stuff. Nothing exceptional, may I add, by the way, because we have had cool outbreaks in June's gone by. But this is a little bit of a shock to the system given what was discussed in yesterday's video. I know there was quite a few folk slightly upset by the contents of yesterday's video. Like I said before, folks, I am not making the stuff up. It's purely based on Met Office data. And I'm not really going to say an awful lot more than that, to be honest with you. You know my stance with regards to climate stuff, and enough said, really. So we've got this cold air mass driving south. So we've got the area of high pressure now well out to the west, extending its influence from the central Atlantic all the way up towards the Baffin Straits here. There's that area of low pressure, a fairly deep feature just east of Iceland. And then what it's doing is it's dragging that bitterly cold air off Greenland out of the Arctic and down over the UK. But you notice here that as we play through this ECMWF 850 temperature animation, what we're doing is we're going to see quite the contrast. Chilly air across the UK and Ireland, but some fairly warmer across Iberia here. So we're going to see low to mid, even upper 30s across Spain and Portugal. Temperatures struggling to get much above 10 or 11 Celsius in the northern UK. Even down across the south of the country, we are going to only see 16s and 17s. Now, the typical average temperature for this time of the year would be around 15 in the north, 20 in the south. So we're taking a good 5, 6, 7 Celsius off the average over the next several days here. And it's as we progress through the rest of this week, we've got that warmth over Iberia, and we've got the chilly feed continuing to drive southwards over the UK. Slightly less colder, if you notice, across the southern UK compared to the north here. And what we may see is a little bit of a recovery in terms of temperature as we progress through towards the upcoming weekend here. If we play through the course of the weekend, you see that we're losing some of that chill. Still modestly cold air in place for the time of the year, but not quite as chilly as the next few days, and then higher pressure tries to build in through the course of next week here. But notice here the ECMWF never really allows that warmth over Iberia to lift particularly far north. So like I said, it's going to be chilly over the next few days. Overnight temperatures mid to low single figures. They'll probably be kept up slightly due to a breeze blowing, so we're not going to see the temperatures cool off quite as much. But in sheltered glens, wouldn't be surprised if we had zero in areas such as Carbridge, Aviemore, across the Braemar, where you've got a little bit more shelter from that kind of west and northwesterly wind. We are likely to see the temperatures dropping further in some of these little nooks and crannies of Highland Scotland. But you can see here as we progress through tomorrow and into through tomorrow. Let's play through here. So you can see here that the temperatures there's the blues representing that colder Arctic air getting driven southwards here. And then as we progress through the course of tonight, you see here 3s, 2s, possibly a 1 Celsius showing up here Generally speaking, we've got kind of mid to low single figures, but that breeze is going to keep the temperature up, like I say. But even down across southern portions of the UK, this is off the Met Office model here, you can see quite widespread mid single figures extending all the way into southern England and Wales here. So it's quite a uniform, chilly start to Wednesday. And then we don't really get a great deal of recovery, even at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're still only seeing fours and fives, believe it or not, showing up. Only 8 to 10 Celsius in the central belt, and even across more southern UK, 12s, 13s, and 14s showing up in the chart here. And then, obviously, as we progress through the evening, sun stays up for a long period of time at this time of the year, but we still do see that once that sun goes down, the temperature's dropping off quite considerably here. So widespread low single figures once again coming back into play as we start Thursday off, and then as we progress into the afternoon on Thursday, temperatures struggling to get into double figures across the north, mid-teens across the south here. So we certainly do have a chilly next few days to come. In terms of showers, we are seeing some wintry precipitation. This is off Weather Underground, and you can see here that we are seeing some lively showers rattling in on that west and northwesterly wind, but we are seeing also a wintry flavour to those showers, as you can see by this graphic here, showing the blues indicating some potential snow, and we may see some snow accumulations over the next few days. So I think I've covered enough for today. I would greatly appreciate it if you can hit that like button, let YouTube and myself know that you're enjoying the content here on the channel. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. There is lots of reason to stick around here. Back this upcoming Sunday will be the 95th edition of the Global Weather and Climate Report, so I hope you can join me for that this upcoming Sunday. And we'll also have hopefully a look at the tropics like we did last Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I'll all being well, see you again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.